It's a great pleasure to be with all of you at this very important gathering. It is with food systems as it is with, I guess, Las Vegas, that what happens in food systems do not stay in the food system. Food production and consumption are a major driver of many of our greatest challenges, which we've already heard other speakers talk about today. And this makes, of course, food systems a powerful solution space for solving these challenges. This is one obvious and compelling reason for why we need to link the follow-up from the UN Food Systems Summit with other major events in 2023, as well as beyond, to build unstoppable momentum for transformative change and action at scale within and around our food systems in ways that help us tackle, yes, hunger and malnutrition, of course, but indeed also poverty, pandemic risk, water stress, climate change, loss of nature, and biodiversity. And the UN Food Systems Summit brought greater clarity to what the big shifts that we need are. Things like shifting to nature positive or regenerative food production, shifting to healthy and sustainable consumption patterns, which means, healthy, nutritious diets for all and with a great variety of foods and fundamentally a plant-rich diet. Third, equitable livelihoods for smallholder farmers, for food workers, for everyone in the value chain of food, to slash food loss and waste, and to build greater resilience to unavoidable shocks. And, we definitely want the UN Food Systems Summit stock taking to keep the world focused on the crucial importance of these shifts. And this needs to reverberate across the other major gatherings as well. And this is why this meeting today is so important, and big thanks to Felix and your colleagues for putting it all together. But the world, as we heard from Johannes, is a dump, right? And we have stubborn vested interests ruling it and making it so, and erecting huge logjams blocking progress. So the question is, how can we break through these logjams in front of us and get some real, breakthroughs in terms of embarking on food systems transformation at scale, at the scale that is now required, and in order to tackle our greatest challenges. We know that we need to shift policies by governments, we need to shift practices by companies, and we need to shift behaviors and practices within the world of finance. And for all these three categories, we're not talking about small shifts, we're talking about major shifts. And we have very little time to bring about this shift. And currently, we actually have a real stalemate of sorts here. For example, today, a lot of people in finance will tell you if they're challenged by why can't they shift the capital flows more rapidly in the direction that's needed for food system transformation. They will say, no, we can't, because all the policies are wrong. The policies push us in a different direction. Now, policymakers are one reason policymakers aren't changing policies as fast as we would like is that they do not believe that they will be better off in terms of access to finance if they change their policies. They basically have the expectation that business as usual is their best bet in terms of being able to access finance on the market for investment into the agricultural sector, and hence they don't change. This is exactly the stalemate that needs to be broken. And this is what I do really hope can emerge over the coming year as we look through 2023 and towards COP28, not least. And I hope it also can come out of this meeting today that we see an emerged shared understanding of how we can actually use the landscape of major meetings to break this stalemate, because this stalemate is real. And it's not just with regards to food systems, it's broader than that. It's across everything we're talking about today. And I do believe, at least I hope, that the financing for development track can be useful here. But it does require all of us to think differently, not the incremental change paradigm that pervades much of the financing for development discussions over the years. We need to identify the bigger banks that can actually stand up to the challenges that we face. It starts, in my view, with an honest recognition that when we look at the capital flows into our food systems today, public, private, even multilateral, they are grossly misaligned with what we need, what the science actually demands. So incremental change simply won't do much good. So let me tell you, therefore, what we're now up to, together with a wide and growing range of partners, precisely to contribute to these breakthroughs that we need. And we're aiming here for COP28 as a key moment, and we see an opportunity here for build up towards that moment to become historic. First, to basically build a high ambition group, or several high ambition groups of countries, of cities, of companies that will come to COP28, take a stand and say, we will shift our policies and practices to be aligned with the 1.5 degrees limit and imperative, as well as other key imperatives that we all, I think, agree with, related to nature, related to justice and livelihoods, etc. And then, in parallel with that, alongside that, a similar breakthrough in the world of finance, in terms of launching what we're calling a co-investment platform for food systems transformation, with a critical mass of multilateral, public and private finance actors that come to the COP with a clear commitment to own a share of the GFANZ, or the Glasgow, financial alliance for net zero of $130 trillion that came out of the COP in Glasgow, to own a good share of that when it comes to investing in the shift when it comes to food systems that we need. Because today we don't know. Nobody has said what part of the 130 trillion should actually drive food system transformation as we look to 2030, 2040, 2050. And that needs to change, and that can change. That will also help send a signal into the markets and to governments that the world of finance is finally on the move when it comes to shifting capital flows into our food systems. This will bring about a different dynamic. It will break the stalemate and enable true transformation as we look towards 2030 and beyond. I also see the potential of interesting links here to the Bridgetown agenda, and also to the necessary shifts we need to see around trade, and of course also tax cooperation. So here, COP28 is initial focus, but there is a built-in potential for it to be broadened, including, of course, financing for development, and also UNGA this year, given the very interesting and relevant agenda under the current GA presidency, which we heard from earlier today in this meeting. Nothing of what I've laid out here will be easy. In fact, it's going to be damn difficult, but this is where we are, and this is what we, in my view and in its view, what we need to do. And with that, back to you, Marco.